you got to tell us about the time that KRS-One tried to fight you. I mean, that's literally the name of your podcast episode.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah, and he did try to fight me, though.
And he did try to fight you. I would fight KRS-One if I had to fight KRS-One. I wouldn't give a fuck about him being KRS-One. Respectfully, at that point, I'm like, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you try to fight me, man, it's on.
First of all, I was not tripping. And anyone who was in the building knows. And it's on film. The Harvard Archive has that footage. Nobody was tripping from the West.
What happened, man?
Nobody
what
was
the
tripping,
fuck,
bro.
What happened?
Nobody, bro. It was a weird story. So it's important to note that, like, I knew Chris since I was 19. Like I said, bro.
Yeah.
I've been to so many KRS-One shows, lectures, private moments.
I love fucking KRS-One. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Like,
I love BDP.
Despite the fact that we almost came to real blows, dog. Like, what he did for hip-hop, what he's done for hip-hop intellectuals, what he's done for philosophy, the discussion of philosophy and theology in hip-hop, like, I don't even think it can ever be replicated, right? And so that's why it was going to have to hurt my heart to destroy his body. You know what I mean? Nobody was tripping, bro. But what happened was unfortunate. And it was due to, I think, a mutual immaturity. A mutual immaturity.
I respect the accountability.
So he was doing the Temple of Hip Hop thing. We hadn't spoken for some years. He was like, yo, I want you to be down with the Temple of Hip Hop. He really liked the idea because, like, the whole time I've written under the pen name The Bishop of Hip Hop. So he was like, because he had this temple thing, the idea that the bishop would be in the Temple of Hip Hop, this would be cool. But I was like, dog, I'm Muslim, bro. Like, you know this, bro. You know. Like, I respect everybody's right to believe or not believe anything, but you know I'm Muslim, dog. But every couple months, yo, come through, come down to LA, man. Let me just show you what we're doing, whatever. And then I was always, like, not feeling it. And I don't mean whatever his philosophies were. I just mean I knew who I was. So then one day he calls, and I got a witness for this. Me and Scape One of the best graffiti heads to ever come out of San Jose, the guy that made the bomb logo. He's like, yo, I need somebody to illustrate what I'm creating to be hip hop's Bible. This is what he tells me. I'm like, I can talk to Scape. He's like, bring Scape over. So we go to the hotel. We chill in this hotel, KRS-One, trying to break it down. Scape, for the record, is probably agnostic, but by virtue of being a Puerto Rican from New Jersey, is probably leaning, slight Catholicism, right? So he like, yo, so Scape's like, so tell me, what do you want in it? And he's like, well, like, imagine I'm slaying a dragon named Indus, and Indus represents the industry. Like, I need you to draw this whole thing. And so we're listening to his ideas and shit. And then he's like, are you down? And he was like, yeah, let's talk about it. Of course, he brought no money up into the whole thing, but we walk out of the hotel and we're walking. And neither of us are talking. And we're walking. First block, no one's spoken. Second block, no one's. Third block. And then one of us is like, and we just fall the fuck out like, what? This nigga said Indus, what is he talking about? So then, like, I'm just like, okay, well, just, again, I read philosophy and theology. I take it seriously. I've lectured on this stuff at different universities. Seriously. Islamic history. Seriously. Stoic philosophy. Seriously. I said, Blood, like, regardless of how I feel, I don't believe that what he's talking about is a revealed text. This may not mean anything to someone that doesn't, like, study theology, but basically what it means is, like, if if you are a believer of Islam, you believe that an angel spoke to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and gave him what we know as the Quran. You understand? Like, things were told to Moses. You know what I'm saying? This is what's in Judaic theology. You know what I'm saying? Like, what KRS-One was saying in that hotel room was not revealed speech. He's like, it came off as though he was making it up as he was going along. And as someone who is a believing Muslim, I was having a very hard time. Like, that don't sound right.
So he was trying to make the Temple of Hip Hop an actual religion?
That's what it came off like to me. I don't know. Okay. I can't, you know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like.
The cult of KRS-One.
Yeah. It's just like, right? So I was like, yeah, blood him out. That was my vibe, right? So then he comes to do a thing at San Jose State, and he has a copy of the Gospel of Hip Hop. I do the opening talk at San Jose State. Then he gets up and he goes to speak. I see the shit sitting there. I'm like, fuck. Okay. So a few weeks after that, I thought about what I saw. And there was nothing really wrong with what I saw in there. But the problem that I had was this. We can have different arguments about like Kemetic science, 42 negative confessions and 10 commandments. And you know what I'm saying? Like Akhenaten, like maybe being a monotheist before Moses. I can have these conversations. But what I'm saying is there was nothing that I saw in the sections that I read that made me believe that it was an original text. And what I mean is, like, when you look at a lot of what Socrates said or Ptahhotep said, I know my Kemetic science, boy, you ain't even read that book. What I'm saying is that there's an original stamp on certain things, right? Certain things. And I didn't see the original stamp. I felt that there were certain things that he was calling hip hop philosophy, but that's really something that comes from the Stoics, or he's saying that it's hip hop philosophy, but it comes from the Bhagavad Gita, or it comes from Islam. And I wasn't seeing, well, where is the originality in here? I'm not seeing it. Not saying it doesn't exist. I hadn't seen it. So I wrote KRS and I called him a few times to have that conversation. Cause I was like, if he can show me where the differentiation is at, I'll come down. We can have a conversation. Just as someone who believes in freedom of religion. He didn't hit me up. So then I wrote this thing called The Weakness of Being Hip Hop. And what my argument was that you can never be hip hop because hip hop is a vehicle that takes you to a place. It's like a car. We get in the car and we can go to Africa. We can go to ancient Aztec. We can go, right, wherever you want, to Jamaica, right? But you can't worship the vehicle because the vehicle is just taking you where you want to go. You put Black history in it. You put Latino history in it. You put martial arts in it, right? You put Taoism in it. It'll be that vehicle, but you can't worship the vehicle. Hip hop is just a vehicle and it's an empty vessel and you make it a thing. So I put this out. All hip hop runs it. Shout out to Chuck. And the internet goes bonkers. Like, who is this fool challenging KRS? And I'm like, yo, my goal was never to fight Chris or even disrespect Chris. My goal is that I had read books on the Moorish era, many of them, and they talked about how Muslims, Christians, and Jews used to debate different theology things in Moorish Spain. And they weren't fighting each other. They were trying to figure out what was real. So I was like, Chris, let's debate this idea about being hip hop. And I don't believe that what you have is a revealed text. Show me. That was it. I intended no disrespect. And I was trying to elevate the discussions of hip hop at the time. He completely ignored me for a few days. Then he writes this response that had a lot of personal attacks in it, but not a lot of addressing of my points. And it was received that way by a lot of people. They was like, damn, this nerd nigga out the Bay might have actually served Chris on paper. I don't know. And so he writes the second thing, I think. There was a second thing he wrote. And it was like, oh, this nigga's hating Deese. You must have got this fool. I don't even care. I'm just trying to shake out the truth. Genuinely. But what happened is like 2 years passed. And when he goes to different cities, let's say he does a talk, and somebody be like, I got a question. Yeah. Are you going to debate Adisa? And he would, whatever. And so I think he thought I was having that done, right? Like, I think he thought I was trying to have him badgered while he's traveling. And I'm just doing my thing. You hear me? I'm just doing my thing. I've like literally forgot about most of it because he hasn't responded. Okay, I see you not trying to debate me. We good. Meanwhile, there's some other people around him that thought they was going to try to see me and they were failing miserably. But I'm going to let that stay aside. So eventually, this Stanford event comes up and I had asked Marcelina Morgan if I could debate him there because I knew we were both going to be there. She was like, the Harvard Hip Hop Archive had for a time moved to Stanford and they had some things and they were going to do this thing. Chris was going to be there and I was going to be there for totally different purposes, but it was clear we were both going to be in the building. So I was like, yo, can I debate Chris? And she was like, no. And I was like, cool, I'm good. You feel me? I'm not trying to force no drama. That's me. The day of the event, we chilling. There's a breakfast. It's me, Sheena Lester, one of the black queens of hip hop journalism. There'll never be another like Sheena Lester. Davey D is at this table. Some other people. We eating, waiting to get ready. And Dave is a classical jokester. And he's like, yeah, Blood, I saw KRS up in here, man. You know what I'm saying? Might be on. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to goad me. And I looked at him like I was chilling the hardest. And I was like, I will break KRS-One's arm at this event if he approaches me. You know what I'm talking about? And the whole room was like, right? Now, pause the tape. At the time, I'm prepping for a tournament. I'm so fit. I'm so fit. All I do is pray for war. I pray for war. I'm not tripping, bro. I'm not tripping. But I also didn't come to fight at Stanford. You understand? So we get there. Me and Chris, it's like, it's a big table. Like, if there were like 4 of these, right? A big square, okay? And Chris is kind of catty corner to the opposite of me in the room. I do my presentation. Everybody's doing the thing. There is no problem in the room. None. And then Mark Anthony Neal is supposed to have a conversation with KRS-One. And I'm chilling. I'm watching like everybody else watching. I'm sitting next to Dr. James Peterson. Yeah. And so, Chris, can you tell me about the South Bronx and whatever the fuck, because this is hip hop? I can, but I've got a thing to say. We have an FBI agent. We got agents in the room. Agents in the room? What are you talking about? Hip hop is under attack by this man, Adisa the Bishop. I was like, what the fuck, bro? Now, let me tell you what Kilu Nyasha, one of the first Black Panther women, ever told me about agents and accusations. She said, anytime you find a man in a room accusing another man of being an agent, the accuser is the agent. So I already know better than to talk like that. Because I rock with real revolutionaries, you understand? Geronimo Pratt, Tupac's godfather, gave me my middle name. She gave me my name. I don't violate codes like that. So I'm watching him. And I'm like, oh, he's fucking tripping, dog. If you could see the footage, bro, I put the little mic down, Blood. I start taking my shit off, Blood. I'm like, what's up, Chris? You know, and he's like, oh, he said some shit to me. And he was like, what I want to do is hop over this table and beat your motherfucking ass. And I'm like, well, player. Now, what people didn't know, speaking of Bay Area rap, is you familiar with the group Mac and AK?
Mm-hmm. Okay. East Palo Alto.
Right. So Mac been my homie. Rest in peace. He called me. He said, man, I saw KRS-One coming to Stanford. Now, if you don't know anything about the Bay, Stanford is about half a breath away from the death cauldron of East Palo Alto, my guy. He said, let me tell you something, bro. If KRS-One pulls up, I want you to hit my line and I'm going to show up. He goes, but don't call me if it's not really on, because my boys are not coming to have a philosophical discussion. And I was like, cool. I also had there was a number of jiu-jitsu dudes scattered in that room, is all I'm gonna say. So he's talking about whipping my ass. I start like taking my shit off and Peterson's like, sit down, Adisa. He's like, sit down. So I was like, because I stood up. I was like, what's up? And then I was like, all right. So I sat down. So he starts trying to call me an agent. And there's a lot of chaos. Like Marcelina Morgan is rightfully shaken, right? Because she's like, if these dudes start fighting, this shit's fucked. And you know what I'm saying?
Fucking Stanford with the Harvard
you know what I'm saying?
People there.
Yeah, blood. So like, I'm like, you gotta chill. Then Busy B starts coming up and Busy B's been kicking it with Chris. So I'm like, oh, he gonna try to steal on me for Chris because he's over here. Chris is far. Now I see there's distance. And for a minute, I was like, dog, if you really want to, just duck under this thing, run across. Because this is an open space. It's a big square, bro. I'm like, I'm gonna duck under this thing, hit the booyaka over the thing, bah, and just let it be on. You got your G's over there. It can be fine, right? If that gets out of hand, beep, boop, call Mac, and it can be even harder than that. But then I thought about my job as a human being and as a Muslim. And I said, you're right. You could duck under this table, come over the top, bust his ass on the grill and break his fucking arm. You're fully capable. But the reality is that you could never unbreak KRS-One's arm. Like once you attack a man like that, it's on forever. And it's not a problem. Like I got people and I'm my own man. I don't need people. If I want to come after you, blood, I'll just fucking come after you, bro. But that's, because I'm a warrior. I'm not a thug. And that's the thing. And the thing I was like, oh, he's like, I said, oh, he goes, you ain't a gangster. You ain't a thug. I'm like, I got to be a thug, Chris. Today you do. Today you do. I was like, whatever, blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, you obviously don't even know you're in my backyard. I got partners down the street with gats waiting. Right? But this is what the ego will do to you when you think you can come to the West Coast because you pushed fucking Kara, who was the fat dude from fucking PM Dawn, rest in peace to the fat dude. Yeah. Nigga, I'm not him, dog.
I got you.
I'm not him. So I'm like, bro, don't fuck him up because the chaos after that, that's the type of shit that got Tupac killed. Like when you don't know how to scale back. So I was like, I'm gonna chill. I told Peterson, I'm chilling. After the thing, there's all kinds of little chaos. Marcelina kind of shuts the thing down for a little bit. Like everybody go outside for a bit, blah, it was chaotic. And then I left and people was like, oh, KRS was about to whip that journalist's ass, starts popping up on the internet. And other people like, that journalist is hella good at jujitsu. Chris was about to get his ass whooped. And a bunch of little debates start popping. But like by that time, shit's fucked. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not happy just where things are at. So I chill. And then Shamako Noble calls me from Hip Hop Congress. And I'm like, what's up, blood? And he's like, KRS-One just called me and he wants to know if there can be peace. Now, I don't know what happened in between this incident and the time KRS-One called me. What I think happened is some people probably told him, that's not the guy you think you want to fuck with. You might want to chill. And he rethought about it. Or maybe he just had a better philosophical epiphany.
Might have just been like, damn, that was a bad fucking look. I was wilding out at Stanford. What the fuck was I doing? I was trying to fight the dude at the fucking car. Yeah. God damn it, Chris. Come on, man.
Yeah, like his stock dropped heavily after this shit.
Because that's not a good look.
His stock dropped heavily. And so he said, is it cool? And I was like, I don't think so. I don't know. I gotta think. So I'm chilling. Then phone rings. Might have been the same day. I don't remember. It was Davey D. He's like, peace, man. It's Dave. I said, what's up, bro? He's like, I got Bam on the phone. It's Africa Bambaataa. He's like, yo, we need to chill this out. Can I get you and KRS-One on the phone? And I went off. Man, fuck Chris. I'm going off. But I was an original Zulu from the Bay in the original 7. Shout out to Alex Aquino, Polo Paz, you know what I'm saying? All the original dudes. And I was like, yeah, we can get on the phone. So we get on the phone and shit starts going down. It was probably a mutually ugly, immature conversation. Right? One of the things that happened is I had a death threat sent to my house. And I knew that someone in the temple had sent that shit. And I felt that I knew that Chris knew about that letter. And I confronted him about that letter. And he confirmed that he knew about it. And I was like, so you know niggas is sending fucking death threats to my house, bro? That's some cowardly ass, bitch made ass shit, bro. The fuck is going on with you, bro? You know what I'm saying? And he even admitted at that time that when he found out about the death threat, that he was so angry he didn't care. Which, as weak as fuck as it was, I could you know what I mean? I could see him being that mad. So we like squashed it. So Davey D and Shamako Noble and Africa Bambaataa are really responsible for that not getting as out of hand as it could have been. And Dave and Shamako and even Bam, despite being a molester ass weirdo, bro, did a good deed that day.
Well, shout out to motherfucking KRS-One, man.
Amazing MC.
Yeah.
There will never
Shit
be another
happens.
like him, bro.
Shit happens.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a pretty legendary statement that KRS-One tried to fight me.
Yeah, it was wild, man.
That's some
But you know what now? I mean,
history.
bro, like we're all fucking grown. We were grown as fuck then. We're triple grown now.
What year was this?
Oh, shit. There it is.
Yeah, that's
something like
ready to
that.
go.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what? I think it was like 07, 08.
No, it says 06.
It does it? Damn, my guy with the internet. Yeah, you know, it was tragic, bro. And, you know, it should have never been that bad. You know what I'm saying? It should have never been like that. And it was weird, though, because what I intended as a way to push hip hop forward and to be more intellectual and philosophical almost devolved into the shit that we don't want to see the most, which is, you know, grown-ass men fighting over hip-hop. That shit is corny as fuck, bud.
Yeah, I don't think anyone... But you know what?
It's a bad look, bro, for everybody, bro.
It's just... I mean, it's refreshing to hear you say that because we were talking earlier about questionable content practices as they relate to hip-hop. And I do want to double down on that, yeah, nobody really wants to see that bullshit, man. A lot of people promote that shit. A lot of people push it. I guess it is entertaining. It's something to talk about when two adult-ass men beef over lyrics or some disrespect or ego or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, bro, it's not a good fucking look.
You know, and I just want to apologize in this moment to anybody who was connected to that situation because, you know, it was immature, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was immature, bro. It was wild, and I'm glad that it didn't happen. It would have been a bad look. Like if I would have put hands on Chris, or if Chris would have put hands on me, or if his people would have got at me, or my people would have got at him, like
it wouldn't have got any better.
It wouldn't have been worth it.
Yeah.
Nobody would have. There would have been no winner in that clash.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.